Hey friends, this is The Social Tea and I'm Sharonda Lee. I talk about all things social, including celebrity news, reality shows, what's going on in pop culture, local news, and more here in these YouTube streets. We know folks always get in their feelings about what's said here on social media, so I must say what's stated here is alleged, my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. Friends, make sure you visit my website at www.thesocialteatalkmedia.com and also follow me on all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, also known as X, and TikTok. Also check out my podcast, The Social Tea Off the Air, on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or Spotify. Now, before we get into it, make sure you hit that notification bell, like, share this with everyone you know, and subscribe. With all that being said, relax, get comfortable, and let's get into the tea. So the women are in the DR, and the conversation or the show starts out with the women all gathering together on the beach and talking about the night before where they felt like Wendy and Candiace were making faces during a conversation that Gizelle was having about her daughter going to college in Florida. Maybe she felt like Candiace and Wendy were being funny, but that's only because you're a dirty bitch and you've done dirt, so you think everybody else is doing dirt. I just don't like Gizelle. Don't like her. And the fact that everybody else wanted to talk about her and and then she's talking about, oh, we're going to talk about it later. No, let's talk about it right now. And I like how eloquently Wendy put it. Like, girl, I've already been down these streets with you concerning your child. I'm not saying nothing else about your child. And what you thought I said or looked at your child wrong, I'm not. So we did it. And basically Candiace said the same thing. I just think Gizelle is a punk. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to certain things, she can dish it, but she can't take it. Nobody said anything about her child. I just think that Gizelle wants to issue, and she wants to issue real bad with Wendy and Candiace, but specifically Candiace. So after this, the ladies, they head to dinner. They all look cute. I think Candiace's shoes, her shoes were really, really cute. Gizelle started gyrating and dancing in her little gold dress, always stiff. So again, Karen brings up the situation again in regards to Gizelle thinking that Wendy and Candiace were being funny in a sense, or making faces when Gizelle was talking about her daughter. Like I said, I just don't think that they didn't do anything in regards to her daughter. Now, if it was about Gizelle, yeah, they're gonna make faces about her. Because I don't like her. The vast majority of people don't like Gizelle. But I think they're just grasping for straws at this point. So Karen brings up how the conversation ended on the beach with Candiace and Robin at the dinner that they're at. And basically Robin says that Candiace feels like she did nothing wrong. And I don't know how I feel about that. Because in essence, Candiace didn't do anything wrong. I understand how Candiace felt when the situation happened with her last year, and how Gizelle tried to say that Chris dang near SA'd her and made her feel uncomfortable. All the while, Robin, Your good Judy had her whole scandal situation, alleged uh scandal situation. Robin had her own situation with Juan, and Juan cheating. Cause that's let's not play semantics here. Um, Juan said that he paid for a woman's hotel room that he said that he knew nothing about. She basically lived in Canada and she flew all the way down to DC just to happen to meet somebody, and she lost her wallet or whatever I forgot happened, but he basically paid for her room. Like, and Robin really believes that. But I get where Candiace was coming from. How can you go with your friend Robin and basically, co-sign by the time the reunion happened, not during the show last year, but by the time the reunion happened, Robin basically co-signed what Gizelle was saying about Chris, but didn't want to talk about your whole situation that was happening with Juan. So I mean, Robin, pretending or acting like she's such a victim. No, ma'am. It's called own your shit. If you were really Candice's friend, you didn't really have to tell her about what was going on, but you didn't also have to kind of co-side with your friend. So do I guess now that I'm saying this, I kind of feel how Candice feel. Like we were cool. Like we didn't have any issues. And the fact of the matter is you could be friends with someone that would blatantly lie on my husband. I don't know. I'm looking at you with the side eye. So yeah, now that I'm saying this, yeah, I kind of am on Candace's side when it comes to that. Um and so Ashley asks her if she asks Candace if she still feels the same way. And Candace was like, she doesn't know. And then, everybody proceeds to laugh. Like what, but I'm feeling where she's coming from. And I feel like if I was in Candace's shoes, I wouldn't know either, because let's just be honest, Robin and Gizelle are close Judies. They're friends. So I don't know how I would feel about you in this instant, because you're good friends with somebody that blatantly lied on my husband. So, no, boo. I don't know how I feel about you. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. And at this point, Candace says it doesn't matter. It freaking doesn't matter. Like you're Robin or the forever victim, and you were done so wrong. But I feel like the public was justified in how they felt. You had a whole story about you and Juan. Okay, I can understand you not wanting to share that story. You're on reality TV. We're not saying that you have to share every aspect of your life. You could have even, alluded to something happening, and you know what? It's a very private moment for us. We're just going to keep it under wraps, blah, 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 blah. But that wasn't done at all. And then not only you didn't do that, but you decided to get on your funky ass podcast, you and Gizelle, and talk about what happened. Honey, don't you get paid to tell your life on reality TV? I could have even had sympathy if Robin said anything at all and it just got found out, you know, how it came out about Ron, and she just said nothing at all. But the heifer almost like doubled down and went on her podcast. And I think she even went on Patreon to talk about the situation. Like she was profiting off of it, and you already get paid to be on reality TV. So, like Candace said, I'm done with it. Like, she's not the victim. The victim is Chris and Candace. They were done wrong. Chris was done wrong. But of course, she's not going to see it that way. So then we get to Gizelle and Karen, and they're sitting out in the little pool. And basically, for me, it felt like Gizelle was calling Karen Two-Face, basically saying that Karen didn't hold um, Wendy and uh, Candiace accountable for them making faces when she was talking about her daughter. Again, like Karen said, they make faces. Everybody's funky acting towards each other. Y'all don't get along. So it doesn't mean that she specifically did that to your daughter. And I like the way that Karen stood on her square and was like, how are you going to come at me and say that I didn't defend children when you didn't even tell them about, stand on your square and tell them this is my child. Why was y'all making faces, or why were y'all acting like that when we were having a conversation about my child going to school? You as a mother didn't even say that. So how are you expecting me to come out and tell these women that they shouldn't do that? And, you know, and just like Karen said, when it comes to uh the whole Candiace, like she won't say anything to Candiace, excuse me. She won't say anything to Candiace. And I think it's because of her guilt. She won't say anything to Candiace because she know what she did to Chris, her husband. She know that was wrong. And so that's all guilt. It's like she's avoiding Candiace like the plague. Um, but rightfully so. So the ladies are eating lunch, I presume, and I'm gonna skip over the whole NFL player situation with Ashley, the trainer with Karen. Who cares? We're gonna get right down to it. So basically, um, Karen basically brings up the conversation again, this conversation that she had with Gizelle. Basically, you know, her stating that Gizelle feels like um she's different basically when she's around um the group than she is when she's with Candiace and Wendy around when they're around. And um I don't agree with that. I agree with the fact exactly what Wendy said. Karen holds y'all bitches accountable. It's not a matter of her being different. I think that Karen is neutral ground. You know what I'm saying? And I think to a certain extent, whether it's Gizelle and Robin, whether it's Wendy and Candiace, I feel like she holds everyone accountable for their actions. We've seen her do that. But I think it's because, again, the guilt when it comes to Gizelle, I feel, and what she did to Chris, and people really looking at her for who she is, a mean bitch. Um, and that's what it is. I also feel like um that maybe Gizelle felt that way about Chris because maybe she was actually attracted to Chris and she felt weird about being attracted to someone's husband. Um, and she decided that energy, maybe she felt like that energy was reciprocated, but again, she made her own self feel uncomfortable because he didn't push up on her. And so Wendy's friend, that's on the trip, I think her name is Kalarna, something like that. She basically states that she basically sees the energy shift or the energy that's different between Candiace and Gizelle. And clearly maybe they have some unresolved issue. Candiace like, nah, that's just it is what it is. And then Wendy jumps in and basically says, well, yeah, you're probably saying that because Candiace and Robin, they were really, really good friends. And she also says that at one point, me and Gizelle, Wendy says me and Gizelle were really good friends. So what you're saying now is like the ending of us not all being so cool as we were before. And I think I personally think when that situation happened last year, when Robin stated, I mean, excuse me, when Giselle stated what she stated about Candace's husband, Chris, I think that there was some lines drawn. I think that Wendy, kind of stood up for Candace as to say, you know what, me and Giselle was cool, but because she did that to you, I can't rock with her, because if she'll do that to you, then I know she'll say something about my husband. Because remember, they around calling my husband Happy Eddie. They already done said little things about my husband possibly messing with somebody online. So I felt like when it came down to that, I think that's what Wendy did. And I also think that because Gizelle and Robin were close and good friends at first, I feel like Robin jumped on a side with Gizelle. She chose a side. She chose a wrong side, because it was wrong for Gizelle to say what she said. Okay, you're in a room with somebody. He made you feel uncomfortable. But what did he do exactly to make you feel uncomfortable? Did he touch you? No, he didn't touch me. Did he talk in a low voice? Did he sound seductive? No. I just felt uncomfortable with him in the room. Oh, okay, girl. Well, maybe you felt uncomfortable because you were actually attracted to Candace's husband. And, to Candace, I like Candace, but it was Candace's fault going around telling these women that her husband, which is a white man, had a dark peen. And after that, Gizelle just kept talking about it, talking about it, talking about it, talking about it. So I felt like she felt uncomfortable because she was actually attracted to her husband. And she didn't know how to deal with that. Just my opinion on that part. So now you have the group split up, um, and the women are split up in, I guess, two different teams. One is going skeet shooting, the other is going to play tennis. We get to the skeet shooting situation, and Wendy's friend Kalarna, standing talking to um Giselle, Robin, um Giselle, Robin, and Ashley, and Robin asks, no, Giselle asks, how do you feel about, coming on vacation with us? You basically made it through. And, she basically says, I enjoyed myself. And then Robin interjects and asks her, basically, did Wendy talk about you? Excuse me, did Wendy talk about us prior to you coming on the trip? And basically, Klarna was like, no, Wendy didn't say anything, but it's obvious, with the shade being thrown around, that y'all not really cool like that. And so, but she basically goes and says, I understand the situation when it comes to Wendy and NECA. Um, Wendy feels basically disrespected. And I guess NECA comes in and basically was like, well, I feel disrespected too. And basically I try to apologize or whatever, and and I'm done with it. You know what I'm saying? And Klarna's like, well, okay, you may have moved past that, but Wendy hasn't. And in the African culture, it's a big thing with you calling somebody a witch. Like that's not cool at all. And to have two African women of the same tribe, I believe, um, going at each other in regards to, someone basically calling your mother a witch. I'm with Wendy on that. You know what I'm saying? The mother got on camera and said she don't barely even know the girl. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if that was a dredged up storyline, but it's a weak storyline. I mean, nobody's really thinking about you enough to put some hoodoo voodoo on you. You know what I'm saying? And put your name on a shrine. Like, that's crazy to me. And that was pretty much the ending of that situation. But I will say, with the issue with Wendy and NECA, um, Wendy's done with it. Like, if NECA continues to be on this franchise, I don't think Wendy will ever be cool with her. Um, because it seems like NECA still wants an issue with Wendy. I mean, Wendy will just be around, but she's not cool with her. She doesn't see it for her. You know, NECA feels like she she was done wrong, but you don't know for a fact that this woman did that. There were people who told you this. You don't know that this was true. You don't know if this was the gospel. You're just taking somebody else's word for it. And I just feel like even when NECA, she apologized, I guess, for her part, Wendy is just not seeing it for her. And I think she's mad because now she has said something that, yeah, we're not moving past it. You may have apologized. I may be good with you. I might not talk to you, but at the end of the day, we're just not gonna be cool. I see you. I see you for what you are. So then we switch to Candiace, Mia, Karen, and Wendy, and they actually start talking about Ashley's divorce. And Mia asks everyone basically what do they think. And in most for the most part, everybody thinks pretty much that she's scared. She was all for getting a divorce, but when it came down to her prenuptial agreement that she had, um, she ain't coming out on top. And that's it. So she's stuck in a certain instance because Michael is the breadwinner. He has the most money. But I'm like, okay, you're making pretty good money in the franchise of Real Housewives. I'm thinking the top this is like the third top franchise. It's not the bottom franchise. So I'm like, you gotta be making good money. Like, I wouldn't use that as an excuse not to leave. I mean, I've myself have been through a divorce. And when I was finally over the situation, I had to pick up three kids and go. But Mia called her a gold digger. Um, Mia called Ashley a gold digger and basically said she married Michael for the money. It is what it is. So we're at the last dinner for the trip, and they bring back up to Ashley the conversation they had, the conversation Wendy, Karen, Candiace, and Mia had. Basically, they're stating that, you know, Ashley was all for, getting her divorce last year. She was about to be a free woman. And then when she realized that prenup that she signed with her husband was some bullshit, now she's kind of reverting back. And, Wendy basically told the table that um, Mia said that Ashley married her husband for his money. And then Ashley goes, well, no. Mia, did you marry, your husband for his money? And then Mia goes, well, I might have. Mia's always been straight up honest, and that's what she said. But like I said before, I do feel that Ashley is stuck. Like she said, she doesn't really share cards. Like, I think maybe she did love her husband, but I think they had like a sugar baby situation going on. Or maybe, he was the older guy and she was the younger girl, and they were just into kind of everything freaky deaky. And now Ashley is older and she doesn't want to do that anymore. I think Ashley changed the terms of what the marriage was supposed to be about. So it's not working for her anymore. I mean, she's clearly seeing other people. They're married, but they're seeing other people. I mean, yeah, I would have to get something out of that, like something. But anyway, that's the review. Stay tuned for next week.